Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 franchise mode here in NHL 25. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we had free agency and simulated through the preseason. And our lineup is pretty much set up and ready to go for year number 3 already, which is quite insane, which is the 2011-12 season. This is what our roster is looking like, and obviously we're not trying to make the playoffs this year, but it's still a pretty solid looking roster for a team that's probably not going to make the playoffs because we do have a bad coach, but the coach actually works well with our team, which is good to see. So we have O'Sullivan, Gagne, and Eberle. So Jordan Eberle once again getting a big chance on a top 6 role. Last season he had 22 goals and 41 points, so hopefully he continues to build off that in his second season. We also do have Marc-Antoine Pouliot playing with Gilbert Brulé and Andrew Cogliano. Not necessarily the best second line, but in terms of getting our younger guys growth, I think it's not a bad area for all these guys to be in. Third line, we got Robert Nilsson with Sean Horkov and Ryan Jones. It would be still nice to move on from Sean Horkov at some point in time just because of his claws and also because he kind of makes us too strong down the middle. But it is what it is. And in a fourth line, we have Zach Boychuk, Riley Nash, and Matt D'Agostini. So kind of just a makeshift fourth line of free agent signings and also Riley Nash. Hopefully Riley Nash can get some good growth this season. Maybe move up to being a third line center if we do move on from Horkov. And then from a defensive standpoint, this is definitely where we shouldn't be super strong, which means we should simulate hopefully not good at all. So we got Schmid and Petrie, we got Rhino Byrne and Taylor Chorney, and a top 6 pairing of Lucas Spiza and Adam Party. So hopefully this defensive core, a lot of these younger guys get growth. Hopefully the guys that are just filler players do a decent enough job. But obviously we don't really want to make the playoffs. And then goaltending, we have Devan Dubnyk, who's up to an 83, literally listed as a starting goaltender, so we'll be interested to see how he performs this season. Last year, he was actually pretty damn good, despite not being as we were anticipating to, because we didn't expect him to be really that great. We didn't want to be the playoff team. He ended up still pushing us into the playoffs after we moved the Bull and Wall to the AHL, so he posted a .916 save percentage, which was much better the year before when he played a little bit in the NHL and a lot of time in the AHL. So hopefully Dubnyk has a solid season, despite us probably losing hopefully a lot of games. And then Jeff Delorier will be our backup. Scratch, we have Rod Pelly, Enver Leeson, and Sami Lepisto. So it's quite a makeshift team, but we do have a lot of young guys that are getting a big opportunity, so hopefully they get growth, even with this team not doing so well. Now, in terms of the AHL, we actually have a pretty good-looking AHL squad as well. We have guys like Hagelin, Burmistrov, Nyquist, who we've acquired from trades. We have Cody Hodgson, Linus Omark, Magnus Payarvi, Anton Lander. We definitely have a good prospect pool down there in the AHL. And guys, we could call up if there's injury problems. Justin Falk is pretty close to being an NHL defenseman. So excited to see what these guys could do, and hopefully a lot of those young prospects could get some good growth. Also, Philip Grubauer will be down there in Springfield this year, so that will be interesting as well. So excited to see what the AHL team could do this season. But with that said, let's get in your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode. And then I think we'll get right into starting up the 2011-12 season. The first comment is from Andy, who says Jokinen is one of the most common Finnish names, so no brothers for Oli and Jussi. And yeah, it's weird because I never realized that until, like I said a few years ago in last episode, that Oli and Jussi Jokinen are not brothers. I always thought they were, and then I found out years later that they weren't. I know Jussi Jokinen does have a brother that plays hockey, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, Oli's not related to him, which kind of makes sense with their hair and all that. They don't really look alike either, so I kind of understand it, but it's kind of weird for me that they're related at all. But I guess it does make sense because Jokinen, I guess, is kind of like one of the most common Finnish last names. Just kind of like if you use Smith in English and stuff like that, last names like that are very, very common. So it kind of makes a lot of sense. Next comment is from Jared the Rabbit, who says those D'Agostini and Boychuk contracts sure are awkward, but you need to do what you needed to do. And yeah, we did sign some guys to cap oil contracts just to make us cap compliant. So guys like Zach Boychuk, Matt D'Agostini, there's a couple other guys I think as well. We had to give them a lot of money basically just to play on our fourth line. So Zach Boychuk's on $6.2 million. He is only 21, so I don't really mind it, but obviously he's not really worth that type of money. And then also Matt D'Agostini got $5.75 million just to kind of keep us cap compliant, because if we were to basically not give those guys the contracts, then people like Gagne, their contracts would inflate, and I want to have guys on good contracts. So these guys are only temporarily going to probably be here, but they're definitely not going to get paid as much when the season ends. Next comment is from Max Herman, who says, I think it would be funny if you drafted Connor Brown 12 years before he joined the team. And maybe that would be an option. Depends on obviously where we're drafting and all that stuff. But yeah, Connor Brown is in this year's draft class. If we go to view draft class, I don't remember when he's supposed to go. But yeah, like I said, it really depends on where we're drafting this year. We will have multiple first round picks, which is nice this year. But Connor Brown is anticipated to go. I haven't seen him yet, I don't think. Oh, there he is. He's supposed to go early second round, so maybe there's a chance we could grab him with our second rounder or a late first rounder, unless we decide to go with somebody else. But yeah, he's currently playing for Erie at the moment, so he could play both sides, which is nice. So maybe he'd be a nice, useful, versatile forward for us to have in our top 6 or top 9 for the future. And the last and final comment is from Samurai Taku, who says, I'm not sure what to think about Marty signing with Isles. I didn't have a huge problem with him going to the Rangers IRL because of how badly the Lightning treated him at the time. Maybe history is repeating itself here where they just let him walk to free agency instead. And yeah, that's true. Maybe this is the alternate universe where he just gets dropped off to free agency, which is probably better because the way the Tampa Bay Lightning obviously mishandled Martin St. Louis right near the end of his career and then had to trade him to the Rangers was kind of weird. But at least he got a fresh start there, and he'll get a fresh start with the Islanders here in this series. I don't know how he's been in Tampa so far. I don't even know if I looked at his stats, but where he's slotting in currently with the New York Islanders is on this top line with John Tavares and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So kind of an interesting top line. Obviously, you give a veteran to 2 very young players, so we'll see what that line ends up doing for the Islanders. But the Islanders have made a lot of moves here early into franchise mode, and St. Louis has been a pretty damn solid player, 80 and 75 points in the 2 years in Tampa. 1 playoff years of experience with 5 points in 10 games, was -7, but still. Martin St. Louis should hopefully give Tavares and Nugent-Hopkins a good chance to succeed in these early stages, because so far John Tavares hasn't been the most insane player, but with Martin St. Louis next to him and a young Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, it should be quite interesting. Like, Nugent-Hopkins should win Rookie of the Year being in the spot he's currently in, so we'll see what ends up happening with all that. But with that said, I think we're ready to get into start simulating some of the season. I could ask once again Sean Horkoff if he'd be willing to waive his no trade clause, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit and just see how this team is first and foremost. I would like to simulate maybe half of the season in this episode, but it really depends on how we get off to the start off this year. Like, if we start off this season really bad, obviously that's a good thing for us, so we could continue simulating. If we start off way too good, obviously then we could make some adjustments accordingly. But with our coaching staff, as I mentioned, we did hire some new coaches that actually work well with our team but aren't really well rated. So you have McPherson. He's a C overall coach, so he doesn't really have good stats, but he has good teaching grades, and he also is a 66% team fit on this roster. So hopefully he gives a lot of those young guys some good growth, despite our team not doing so well. Because likely with the C-rated coach, we will lose a lot because it's not a B coach. If you have a B- coach, you could still win games, but a C coach, likely you won't. So anyways, we have 4 games against Minnesota in the first month of the season, which is actually kind of insane. We also have a back-to-back with the Kings, 2 games against the Blues. Kind of a busy start to the year. Also 3 games against the Flames. Damn. A lot of battles of Alberta already. So let's go through the first month of action, which is quite a busy month, like I said. And we'll see what the team's looking like at that point and see if we need to make any sort of adjustments. But like I said, hopefully the young kids do well, and hopefully we do not simulate well as a team. So Jeff Wojcicka's on waivers apparently by the Florida Panthers, because that's Rochester. He's not bad, but he's basically what we have already, so we're not going to claim him. But yeah, we have a lot of defensemen that are pretty much in that range of 77. We do beat the LA Kings, and then we lose to them in the back-to-back situation. Minnesota's also win. Okay, so we are winning still some games despite having a C-rated coach, but obviously the C-rated coach is definitely making us lose more often, as Gilbert Brulé has been injured with a bruised hand. He's out till the 23rd, so we will just go replace player on that because we don't really care too much about winning games, so we aren't going to set up our lines again. We shut out Dallas somehow. I'm kind of surprised on that. So I don't know who picked up that shutout. Hopefully it was Dubnyk, because Delorier really doesn't matter that much. So Rod Pelly was playing second line center, which is kind of funny to see. Hopefully he was doing okay in the lineup. But I'm trying to see if we could get Brule to outgrow his potential a little bit. So hopefully he continues to maybe get some development. If he doesn't, he might be a career third line center kind of guy, which is not really a bad idea for us in that bottom 6 for now. All right, yeah, we're definitely not simulating good, which is good to see. So it's definitely the coach that's dragging us down a bit, as our top defensive prospect, Justin Falk, has now been injured with an injured neck. He's out till the 3rd, so it's not super long term, but let's just go replace per on that. We do beat Minnesota in a shootout there, and our final game of the season, or not season, of the month is a shootout loss. So we had back-to-back shootout games with the Wilds, and we are now 4-9-2 after the first month of action. Not bad. Not bad at all. I wonder how we're simulating in terms of team stats. I don't really want to look at the team leaders yet. We obviously will see the team leaders, but right now in terms of individual team stats, you can see we're 23rd in goals for, 29th in goals against, 23rd on the power play, and our penalty kill, despite having a bad coach, is 7th in the league. So not good in mostly everything except for the penalty kill right now, which is pretty good. Also, we've only played a total, I guess, of like 15 games. Gagne's over point per game at the moment, so there is definitely some positive. Dubnyk has a 912 save percentage despite only having 4 wins in 12 games as well. So looks like we're getting some good positives so far this season. Like, having a 912 save percentage despite having the 29th worst goals against is kind of impressive in my opinion. So let's continue to simulate and see what we do in the month of November. Who do we play this month? Dallas 2 more times, Minnesota another time. Goddamn, this schedule's so weird. Like, when you do custom league, it definitely sets up things kind of strange. Like, we play Columbus in a back-to-back as well. Yeah, alright. Let's go to the 30th and see if we continue to fall off here. But at least it was an okay month, like, in terms of at least winning some games. Like, we're not doing so dreadful that we're losing all 82 games like a drafted glory team, which is good. So we'll take Wild back out. Falk will come back in. Hopefully the AHL is getting off to a good start. Hagelin's already up to an 80. I would really like to have Hagelin in the NHL, but I'm going to probably wait till next season unless we decide to move out from like Patrick O'Sullivan or something like that. But Hagelin's definitely primed to make that 4th line next season for sure, which is exciting. Maybe even our 3rd line is Robert Nilsson's back, but he was never injured. We're definitely winning more games than I anticipated, though. Like, we have not that great of a coach, but he's a good fit for our team, so that's probably why we've won some games so far. But we're definitely not simulating good enough to be a playoff team, which is also good to see. But it is good to see a couple wins here and there, just sprinkled in, just to show that our team actually could still win games. Alright, Ryan O'Byrne's been injured with a sore shoulder. Let's go replace player on that. And we do beat Nashville in overtime, which means we're 9-15-4. And we're not last place in our division, which is quite surprising. By December the 1st. We're only 1 point up on the Avs, but we have 3 more games played than them. So we've played a lot of games compared to a lot of teams in the league. But yeah, we're not doing too well, surprisingly. Yeah, okay, that's good. Let's go back and see what our team stats are looking like now at this point, just to see if the month changed anything. So we're 26th in goals for and goals against. We're 29th on the power play. Our penalty kill dropped off drastically in that month all the way to 23rd. So now we're not doing good in really anything in terms of that. But so far, Sam Gagner is still playing really good. 26 points to lead the team. Dubnyk's got a 914 save percentage despite only 7 wins in 22 games. So I feel like the goaltending is doing good despite everything not doing too well right now. But maybe the league is having some good goaltending or something like that, because Steve Mason, who we're going up against next, has a 924 save percentage. So could be a really defensive season, apparently. Columbus is the best defensive team in the league right now. That's really surprising for 2011-12, but here we are. All right, let's go another month. We'll probably go to right around the halfway point. So we got 2 games against Columbus this month, 2 games against Chicago. Everybody else is just 1 game, it looks like. So yeah, let's go to the end of December, see what we're like at that point. But yeah, we're definitely not winning enough, which is good. So we probably won't be a playoff team this year. Samuel Lepisto's now been injured, so let's just go replace player on that. Ryan O'Byrne should be back soon too. We do beat Columbus there. That's kind of a surprise considering how good Columbus has been this season. Nice to beat Columbus once in a while, I guess. Any growth so far on our roster in terms of our overall rating? I guess Eberle went up to an 81. That might be statistical, though. Let's go to defense. Leeson was playing defensive. That's not necessarily an ideal spot for him. So Ryan O'Byrne will come back in, and that's the only one that we need to put back in. Yeah, Samuel Lepisto was the depth defenseman, so that makes sense. All right, Philadelphia is a 5-2 win. I'm really surprised that we're actually winning games like that, though. 5-2 and 6-4. Like, at least we have offensive spurts in some of these games. Like, I don't really expect a lot of these guys to be close to point per game this season. But, like I said, it's very good to see at least that the team could win some games still with a C-rated coach. We only have 11 wins so far, though, which is not ideal. But 11, 23, and 6 at January the 1st. How many games have we played? We've played 40 already, so let's just go through one more game. So we're at the exact halfway point of the season for us. So game against San Jose is a 1-0 loss, but we're 11, 24, and 6 at the halfway point. Let's take a look at some stats, see what's going good for us, what's not so much. We'll go to this stats part, and I just saw Gagne had 37 points in 41 games, which is pretty impressive for what our team's doing. But if we go to the entire Western Conference at the moment, we are dead last, which is great to see. Entire league, are we dead last? No, we are not. We're above the Rangers. I don't know why the Rangers are doing so bad in 2011-12, because this would be only 2 years before they went to the Cup Finals. But Carolina's down there. The New York Islanders are not doing good despite bringing in Martin St. Louis and a bunch of other people. So that's kind of surprising. Best team in the league right now, though, is Chicago in 2011-12. The teams that you'd expect to see up there are up there. Like the LA Kings could win the Cup in 2012. All right. Let's look at some other stats here. So goals for per game. We are currently the third best, or not third best, what am I saying? Third worst offensive team in the league. I'm used to us being good, kind of. Goals against per game, we are the 5th worst defensive team in the league. Power play percentage, we are 3rd worst. We're only one of 3 teams to be below 10%. Shout out to the Buffalo Sabres, though. 5.9% on the power play. They only have 6 power play goals this season at this point. That's insane. And then from a penalty kill perspective, we are 81.1, which is one of the worst, also like 8th worst, or 7th worst in the league. We have 1 short-handed goal, 4, 14, and 2 on home ice, 7, 10, and 4 on the road. So it seems like our team is doing well away from our building. 2, 6, and 2 in our last 10 games. All right. So there's that. How's the AHL team doing, out of curiosity? Like, let's resort this by placement. See how the AHL team is doing. They are currently doing really well. That's what we want to see. We want our NHL team not doing super well, and we want our AHL team doing well. They're 28 and 11. They have not had an overtime loss so far, but so far they look like they're scoring goals. They're playing good defensively. Their power play is solid too, it looks like, and the penalty kill is really good. So I'm excited to see what their stats are looking like. That's actually 2nd in the Atlantic. I want to go entire league, which entire league right now, they are 7th. That's a good placement. I'll take it. All right, let's take a look at some NHL stats and see what's going good for us right now. Hopefully the young guys are doing well, because I don't really care about the filler players too much, but let's see what we got here. So Sam Gagner has been good still on point production, 37 points in 41 games. He's on pace for, I think, a career year, right? Yeah, he is, definitely. So Sam Gagner is looking good. He is in the last year of his contract, so we will probably sign him long-term, likely, just because he's probably one of our best players at this point. Minus 16 right now. Not the best plus-minus, but we aren't caring about plus-minus because this team's not going to be good. Cogliano on 28 points. I'll take it. Solid year so far for Cogs. On pace for over his last 2 seasons, because last 2 seasons he's had exactly 48 points. This year he's on pace for 56. Nice little increase. Pouliot on 26 points has actually been pretty good in that top 6 role, because that's almost better than his career best, but then again, he is getting a lot more ice time this year. Sean Horkov in 22 points. Like I said, I would like to try and get rid of Sean Horkov, so probably, maybe to end this episode, we'll try and get him to waive his no-trade clause, because he's definitely somebody we could flip away this season. Now, he is making $5.5 million, so we might have to bring back some salary cap to trade him away to basically stay cap compliant, so we'll look into moving out from him still. Brule's been good when he's been healthy. 21 points in 38 games. Riley Nash on 8 points in 41 games. And Rod Pelly had 2 points in 3 games when he was actually playing in the lineup. Left wing side of things, O'Sullivan's on 28 points. He's still another guy I wouldn't mind maybe flipping at some point. Robert Nilsson on 15 points. Zach Boychuk on 8. And Ryan Jones on 7. All right. And then from a right wing perspective, Eberle's on 26 points, so he's on pace for 52 points. Yeah, 52 points. Got to do the math. which is more than last year. He's on pace for around 20 goals again. More assists this time around, but he's looking okay, which is good to see. D'Agostini on only 1 goal in 41 games, but 6 points. So D'Agostini's been pretty dreadful so far, and Leeson has nothing in 2 games. Defensively, we got Petrie on 13 points. Taylor Chorney's on 10, but he's a minus 29, which is by far the worst defenseman on the team. Spiza on 9 points, only a minus 2 in 41 games. So I know he's not getting a ton of ice time, but still that's pretty good defensive numbers for this team. O'Byrne is a minus 11 through 35. Party's a minus 11 through 41. Smeed a minus 13 through 41. And Lepisto is a minus 4 in 4 games. Goaltending. Dubnyk still has a good save percentage, really, despite being this bad. Like, he could be like Delorier numbers, which Delorier has below a 900 save percentage, but Dubnyk has a actually pretty solid save percentage, I think, despite our team not doing too well. I'm curious on how that compares to the rest of the league, though. So that's our stats right now. Let's briefly take a look at the entire league as well for stats. So Crosby's leading in points. Kind of not really a surprise. He is also second in goals. Ovechkin and Daniel Sedin are tied for first. Rick Nash is also up there in goal scoring. All right. Best defenseman right now is Markov with 34 points. Every defenseman's under point per game. Carlson has missed some games due to injury, though. Realism. Goaltending-wise, Luongo's on 24 wins already. Goddamn. Most shutouts so far is Howard and Pavlik and also Tuukka Rask. And then the best save percentage by a starter is a 921. So yeah, despite our team not being good defensively, Dubnyk has been okay. Because he still has a save percentage is similar to Rask's. Obviously his goals against is going to be a lot higher than somebody like Tuukka Rask, but he's been okay. He's been like mid-table, despite our team not doing too well. Any goalie goals so far this season for fun? Nope, no goalie goals so far. Most assists so far is Luongo, Jaguar, Crawford, Emery, and Reimer with 2. All right. Best rookie so far this season is Taylor Hall in Toronto. He's just under point per game, 39 points in 40 games, 23 goals. And then Nugent Hopkins got 22 points in 44 games. Wait, so Taylor Hall didn't play last season? That's surprising. He spent another year in Windsor. I didn't even realize that. Okay. So Taylor Hall and Ryan Nugent Hopkins are rookies the exact same season. Looks like Taylor Hall is going to easily win the Calder, though, at this rate. So, shout out to that. All right, so there is that. Let's actually briefly take a look at our AHL team, too, while we're at it. Because I do want to know how the AHL prospects are doing, because we have some pretty important players down there, I would say. So, from a forward perspective, Hodgson's doing the best right now, which is good. He's almost NHL ready. Nyquist is doing good on 31 points. He's almost close. Omark's doing good. That's kind of surprising based on his overall potential. Hagelin is on 26 points. He's pretty much ready to go. We definitely could get Hagelin up here this season if we want to. Burmistrov's been pretty good too. He's up to a 77. He's already got 20 assists in 39 games. So it seems like some of our top 4 prospects are at least picking up some points. From a defensive standpoint, Falk's on 25 points. He's up to a 78. He's very close to. I can't wait till he's actually listed as a top 6, because then we can get him into the lineup maybe next season. Alex Ponce up there. The rest of these guys don't matter too much. I mean, Safaronov, I guess, kind of does. 73. That's pretty solid for a medium 6 at 19. And then goalie prospect-wise, Grubauer's got an 887 despite having 6 shutouts. How is that even possible? So the AHL goalie numbers are very weird. So Brian Pitton is outperforming Philip Grubauer, despite, look at the overall differences. What? And look at the save percentage, though. Like, how do you have an 887 save percentage, but a goals against average of that low, and a shutout of that low? Like, he must be just allowing a lot of goals, basically, on little shots. But he has doesn't allow a lot of goals when he allows them. So we must be not giving up a lot of shots as a team, but we give up goals. I don't really know. But Grubauer is not simulating what I was anticipating him to simulate. Like, all right. So there's that. So I guess we'll look into some potential trades now. So let's look at the trading block and see what's out there, and then we'll maybe ask Sean Horkov about waiving his clause in this episode so we could see if we could flip him in the next one. So Matt Bolesky's there, same with Mikkel Bodker, so some okay younger guys there. The Atlanta Thrashers, Hainsey's not really what we need. Same with Boschman, Lebda, Foster, and Meyer. The Boston Bruins have Tim Thomas. He's not what we need, really. We are looking for more prospects. Ryan Spooner's a prospect. Ryan Strome. Buffalo's got Koistinen. It's just not what we need, really. Jonas Enroth as a backup option's not bad if we really wanted to get rid of Delorier. Like, at least Enroth has a little bit more potential. He is in the AHL right now, but eh. Calgary has Bochinski on the block, who's only 29. Andre Benoit. Grant Klitzum. All right. Carolina has Pothier, Harrison, Foote. Yeah, a lot of these type of guys are just veterans, which we don't really need. Nicholas Chalmerson's on the block. I know somebody mentioned, I think it was Senator Taco in year one, about maybe bringing in Nick Chalmerson. He's having a really fantastic year, though, in Chicago. Chicago's going to be probably a contender for the Cup, so I think it's just more a lack of ice time for him, but he's a plus 39 in 43 games. So it's probably unrealistic to bring in Chalmerson right now, but in the offseason, maybe he's somebody we'll look into. Brock Nelson there is a prospect as well. Colorado, Lyles, Hayduk, older veterans there. Columbus. Yeah, a lot of teams want to get rid of their veterans, it seems like, which we don't need veterans at this point. Like, none of these guys are something this team needs. We need young options. These guys don't really have much potential like Landon Ferraro, unfortunately. Florida, more veterans. Not really seeing a ton. There's a medium elite prospect, right wing two-way forward, in George Fata. So the guy that just got drafted last draft, 27th overall. He's on the block. He's playing in the AHL already, which is kind of surprising. 22 points in 42 games, plus 18 for George Fata. Has he played any NHL preseason games? Yes, he has. An assist in 2 games. Huh. Interesting. I do like George Fata just because he's got elite potential, but I feel like the cost for him might be too much. But the LA Kings are trying to go for a cup, so I understand why he's on the block. But that's definitely the best prospect we've seen. There's also Braxton Cuff, who's another guy they just drafted recently. He is a 71 at 18, and he's also playing in Manchester right now with 22 points in 42 games. The two of these guys must be playing on the same line or something. But there's some actually pretty good players. Oscar Muller's not bad, but he's pretty much what we have with a lot of other guys. Same with Loktionov and Jordan Nolan. Minnesota, Kudobin, I mean, he's not bad, but I don't know if he's really what we need at this point. He's basically like a better version of Delorier. What else we got here? Montreal, Sven Barchi has a high 9, maybe. So there is prospects, but I don't know what the cost would be for a lot of these guys. Radulov's still losing morale, I'm guessing. He's not been very good this season in Nashville, and he's signed for 5 years. Corey Potter. New Jersey, Charlie Coyle on the block, Travis Boyd. Yeah, there's definitely some players we could bring in if we wanted to get rid of somebody like what's his friggin' name? Sean Horkov. Merrick Malik. Wow, Merrick Malik went back to the Rangers again? I didn't even realize that. That's funny. Shootout goal legend Merrick Malik. A lot more veterans on the block. I'm curious if there's going to be any crazy AI trades this year or not. I'm kind of hoping for it, but who knows. Jack Campbell on the block. We'll see if he develops. He's also down in the AHL already for San Antonio. He's actually been fantastic with San Antonio. We don't really need goalie prospects, but shout out to Jack Campbell. He's actually played 2 years already in the AHL. It's kind of crazy. A lot of these guys are getting signed right out of the draft, I guess. What else we got here? Sergei Fedorov, Anton Forsberg, Rob Blake at 42 years old. 8-team no trade. Carlo Koliakovo, Marco Sturm, Mark Dambiron, and Shane O'Brien. Bill Guerin still playing at 41. Keith Tkachuk at 39. A lot of those guys are too old. This fringe starter goalie prospect in Malkin. We don't need goalie prospects really, but shout to Oleg Malkin. Toronto, Jimmy Hayes, Matt Frant, Ryan Dzingel. Vancouver, I mean, Jordan Schrader. I almost said Justin Schrader for no reason. Washington, Chris Wagner, Cody Eakin. So there is some options, but I'm not really too sure what I would want. Like, Bolesky's not bad for a bottom 6 role, but I don't know. He's actually playing in the NHL this season. He is quite aggressive, which makes a lot of sense because that's how he plays. He probably throws a lot of hits, right? Yeah, he throws a lot. He's already got 90 hits this season. So, we'll see. But there is that. Let's take a look and see if Sean Horkov would be willing to waive his no movement clause to end off this episode. Because if he does, maybe we'll trade him in next episode. Because that would be not that bad. Like I said, we would have to take back some salary cap. But I want to talk to him. Because we haven't been playing good. Maybe he'll change his mind a bit. Let's go clause option. And see if he'll give us a list here of 3 teams. It still says very risky. But maybe he has a higher chance of wanting to be waived or moved out because this team's been really bad. Like, we want to definitely give him a chance to go win a cup somewhere else. So we'll see if he's okay with it. So let's see if he'll give me 3 teams. And he still says no. Goddamn, man. I'm really surprised. I don't know if he just wants to retire with the Oilers or what, but he does not want to be moved out, and it's not like I could waive him or anything, but we will still have to wait a little bit longer to move on from him. That means this entire season we'll have to hold on to him, probably. But when does it become a modified no-trade clause? Oh, man, not next year even. It's the year afterwards. Hopefully he's retired by then, but with that modified no-trade clause in a few years, we could move him then, but definitely would like to move him beforehand if possible, because $5.5 million is kind of a huge hit to this team. Like, he's making as much as, like, Boychuk and stuff, but those guys are filler players. Like, we definitely need to be paying guys like Sam Gagner a lot of money this offseason, so that's very important for us to move on from his Horkov. So if you look at right now what Gagner is trying to get in terms of money, I don't know how much money we're going to have this offseason, but like I said, Gagner needs to get a long-term contract extension. He does not have a lot of organizational interest, which isn't great, but right now he's trying to get 7 years at just around $6 million, which is a lot of money kind of in this universe, but it might be worth it. It might be worth it. But we also do have like guys like Brule and Petrie that signed this offseason too. Brule is going to be quite cheap. Petrie's probably going to be dirt cheap too. Ooh, Petrie's going to be expensive. 4.6 already. Yeah, we might have to try and find ways to offload some people in the offseason or before then. But at least this team's not simulating good. So we shouldn't be a playoff team. What's Devin Dubnyk trying to get? He is trying to get a normal goalie contract. He actually has a lot of organizational interest too. So we could probably give him a 3-year deal. If you guys want me to at like 2.95. Which is not bad. He doesn't take him till he's 28 years old, and then maybe we find a new goalie by then. But that could definitely be an option. Anything else we want to take a look at before we end this episode? Let's take an updated look at the draft class right now and see what this draft class is looking like. So obviously we don't know still about Philip Forsberg, but I'm pretty sure I just made him a medium elite. Festerini's medium elite. Because these are the type of guys we might be able to draft in a few episodes, so it's kind of exciting. We should be able to get ourselves an elite prospect regardless. And then some of these other guys might be able to be on our cards too. Like, we do have multiple firsts this year, right? Like I said, like if we go to our draft board, which first rounders do we have again? Anaheim and New Jersey's. Where is Anaheim and New Jersey in the standings? Because I did not take a look at that, really. Where is Anaheim in New Jersey? Let's see. Because maybe we have a good chance to win multiple high-up picks. Let's see. Where is New Jersey and Anaheim? So they're not down here with us. So we have the highest first of our own. New Jersey and Anaheim. New Jersey's kind of mid-table. Maybe that turns into being a draft lottery selection. Anaheim's not too far off that. Are they both in the playoff spot at the moment? Because I honestly don't know. Anaheim is in a playoff spot right now. Alright. So that one might not be a lottery pick. New Jersey is not in a playoff spot right now. So we might get ourselves 2 lottery selections at least. But that's good though. We might pick early in the first round, maybe mid first round and late first round. I think that's not a bad scenario for our team to be in. So with that said, that's going to do it, guys, for this episode of our Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 franchise mode. So in next episode, we will simulate probably the rest of the season. We might make some trades. We can't move on from Horkov yet, so I don't know who we'd move on from. Maybe O'Sullivan. But definitely we could make some more trades to make us worse. But right now we're not simulating good, so we could easily keep this team together for the entire year if we really want to. And then make some moves in the offseason if we want to instead. and basically make us as weak as possible for 2012-13, so that way we can maybe draft somebody like Nathan McKinnon next year. But obviously this rebuild is off to a good start, it seems like. We should be getting ourselves a good prospect to start building this team around, so very excited for that. So guys, let me know anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.